Hello again, welcome to Garage C. Today we're going to be fitting a quick release steering hub adapter because race car with the cage and bucket seats in this car, it's really difficult to get in and out. So to make our lives easier, we're going to fit this NRG rather pretty quick release. So this side will take our steering wheel. This side will go onto the steering column, but in order to do that we're going to use an NRG short hub so that the overall length isn't much more than the length of the crush hub. It's fitted as standard. So first things first, let's get the steering wheel off. Okay, so with the bolts out of the wheel, I can release the horn push, standard Nardi horn push. What I'm actually going to do now, I'm going to pop the wheel back in place because I want the extra leverage when it comes to taking the wheel off. Okay, so with the wheel back in place, I'm going to take a 21mm socket and I'm going to undo the nut in the centre which holds the crushing hub onto the column. Okay, and there we go. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not actually going to remove the nut all the way. I'm going to leave it still threaded on 3 or 4 turns so that when I pull the wheel it doesn't come flying off and smash me in the face. Okay, well, time for plan B then. Since the wiggling and pulling on the steering wheel hasn't done the trick, I'm going to break out the three-legged metal squid of doom. This is a bearing or hub puller, and this should do the trick. This should get the wheel off for us. So let's get it on. So I'm just going to clip the legs behind the steering hub. And we're going to line it all up and spin the centre to the centre of the wheel. The nut is still in place, so when it comes off it doesn't come flying off. And we need a socket to drive it. That one seems about right.
I'm sure that's cheating. What you've just done.
Yeah, top tip. That's how I do that. So let's wind this centre into the hub, and that's either popped off. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, what we've done is we've actually cracked the hub. Okay, definitely one of those 5 minutes jobs that's going to take us 6 hours and oxyacetylene. So what we did with our three-legged puller of doom was we broke this hub here on the back. It just sheared the metal. I'll show you that later. So I've popped the wheel off. We're going to have a go at I've reconfigured the arms so they've got the wider bases on them, so I'm going to hope that's going to spread the load a little better, and we will see if we're going to break more bits off of the back of the steering boss, or if we're going to have a success and pull the rotten thing off the steering column. You got a bit scared then, didn't you?
I did.
That bang was not the hub breaking. That bang was the steering hub coming loose. And that's why we leave that nut in the middle, so when it comes loose, it doesn't smack you in the face. So another job successfully sorted out by the three-legged octopus of doom. And I don't mind that we've broken a couple of bits off the back of this steering hub, because we're not using it again anyway. Now the important thing to note is that the steering is centered. The top mark is pointing to the top, and when it broke off it didn't spin round because the nut was holding it in place. So we know that that's near as damn it, the wheels are pointing straight ahead. So yeah, there's the remains of the hub. So let's have a look at the back of the hub. You see the damage that we did. There you go.
Oops.
Yeah. I'm not surprised because this is quite thin actually. So there's a top tip for you viewers. Don't put a puller on that part there, because it's just going to snap it clean off. Probably would have been better to pull, I don't know, from here. I might have deformed these though. Don't know. My advice is, I don't know. But we got this one off, so that's good. One of the questions when you're changing the steering wheel and the hub is, well, how does the horn work? Because the horn button's in the middle of the steering wheel. Well, it's quite clever. On the back here, I've got this contact. Now this is connected to this wire here. So there's electrical continuity between that wire and this here. And then on the steering column, you can see we've got this spring-loaded, if you can see that camera lady, spring-loaded brass contact. And that runs along the back of the hub, and that's what carries the connection for the horn up into the hub, into the steering hub, so your horn works.
No, that's clever.
The next thing we want to think about is the auto cancelling of the indicators. It's really easily done. On the hub here, you can see you've got these two plastic ears sticking out. On the column, sorry, you've got the two plastic ears sticking out, and on the hub, you've got a hole for each. And when you have the indicators on, it's this plastic hub that rotates around and cancels your indicators. Like that. So when we're sliding this into place, which we're going to do now, we need to make sure that those plastic prongs go into these holes. Now on the hub, there's a small hole next to one of these screw holes, and that should go at 12 o'clock. So we know our steering is centered, we know our cancelling ring is centered, we put it with the hole pointing upwards, as close to as we can get. It might be slightly off, there we go, that's it. So our indicator mark is at 12 o'clock, and then we just add our nut back on. But not with that socket. With this socket. With the NRG short hub adapter fitted, it's time to fit the NRG quick release. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to separate this into its two parts. So to release the steering wheel, you depress this button. Oh, let's get it the right way around. Depress this button, pull towards you. This comes away with the steering wheel, and this part is what stays with the car. We're going to make the connection for the earth, for the horn, and we're going to make the connection for the switched live for the horn. Just pop those into place there. Again, we're looking for the little dot. I don't know if you can make that out on the camera.
Yep.
I need to feed the wires in. Oh. Without getting them all crimped or squished, if we can at all avoid it. There we go, the wires are moving around. and this is held in place with some 4mm Allen head bolts that are provided with the kit. With the back part of the boss in place and the screws put in finger tight, I'm going to snug this up, tightening everything diagonally or opposites. So I'm going to go 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever o'clock that is, 10 o'clock-ish, about 3:30.
The camera wobbled then, you made me laugh.
Yeah. And time for tea up there. That's it. I'm not using an electric windy gun or anything really serious. I don't want to strip any of these threads, so I'm just using 4mm Allen key. With the rear part of the quick release hub in place, it's time to fit the front part, which the steering wheel will then be connected to. So we're just going to pop it in place and turn it until it engages. That's it. That's now there, ready for us to go. Now, hopefully, this should make the horn go beep. Success. Before we put the wheel on, it's a good time to do the comparison shot. So we've used the short NRG slimline adapter and we've used the NRG quick release. So where does that put the steering wheel? If we compare that to the OEM, we can see that that's where the steering wheel would sit OEM. It's going to sit closer to us by, well, about an inch, which I think is going to be perfectly acceptable. It's time for me to take a little guess, because I'm not 100% sure how this goes into our quick release hub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wheel on first, and I'm going to bet that this is a press fit once that's done. We'll see how we get on. So, offer the wheel up. Now this is a multi-fitment unit, so we can fit a Sparco wheel and NRG wheel. This is a Nardi, and the Nardi holes line up perfectly, and we're going to put the wheel in place again using the 4mm Allen key headed bolts, which are supplied with the kit. Now you'll notice that I'm not snugging all of these down straight away, because I want that little bit of movement in the wheel so that I can get the nuts, get the bolts started. Once they're all started, I can start snugging them down. The next challenge, our horn push. Nardi horn push, and it has one connection. You can see on the wheel, I've quite obviously got two. Now this one is the earth, and this one is the switch live. So the switch live is going to go to the centre, and the earth will go to the body. But there's no connector to connect that to, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these spring-loaded clips. And this is a bit of a jerry rig really, but I'm going to thread that through the hole in the connector in the spade terminal to get that in place there, and then I'm going to pop that spring-loaded clip back into its home. So that's going to keep that earth connector connected, stop it from flapping around inside and possibly setting off the horn. Switch live, I'm going to plug in to the terminal. There, see what I'm doing, and accidentally blow the horn, confuse passers-by. So with that done, I'm hoping that I can then spin this into place. It's so close. I think all we need to do is just use a little persuasion. Just push those little spring clips in, and yeah, I think that's got it. With plenty of beeping to upset the neighbours. There we go. think that works. I'm fairly happy with that. I think we may be crimping a wire a little bit, so we may have to check that later. But the quick release wheel is on and secured. Yeah, the distance to the indicators and things is a little bit further, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. How do we take it off? Well, the same as we did earlier. We depress that little button on the top, slide the collar towards us, and push the little button on the top. Didn't push it far enough in. There we go. Made it look easy. I'm sure I'll get better at that as time goes on. And then you can walk around Tesco with your steering wheel in your hand. How cool is that? Well, that leads us to the million-dollar question. Was all the expense and all the time and all the spannering worth it? Is it easier to get in and out of the car without the steering wheel? Let's find out. That is a great success. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Garage C. Don't forget to smash that like button and please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Until next time, thanks for watching.